power of the dark side. The Force is strong with you. You're not a Jedi yet. Hi everybody, this is Dino from Prehistoric Facts. Hopefully you enjoyed my little thing there in the beginning here. So happy Halloween, and as you can tell I was wearing my Darth Vader mask, and so you actually can tell that Darth Vader is my favorite character in the Star Wars universe, and so that is actually a pretty cool thing I can do for Halloween. And so happy Halloween to everybody, and hopefully we can also actually get right down to these questions, shall we? And so Luke Zilla got a bunch of questions for me, and so first question: what if killer crocodile Gustav met Sarcosuchus? And I've looked into Gustav a little bit, and saying that it's possibly a 23-foot Nile crocodile that was probably over 100 years old right now, and I think it was actually caught 2 or 3 times in terms of trying to measure it, but even though some of the measurements could actually be different now if Gustav was actually around. But what if Gustav actually met Sarcosuchus? Sarcosuchus would eat him. Sarcosuchus would actually just tear it apart. Because first of all, Sarcosuchus is a much larger crocodile, and so Sarcosuchus is 40 feet long and could actually probably eat Gustav if it had to. And then you got some battle questions from me right here. So who would win, Yutyrannus or Oxalia? Oxalia being a Spinosaurus and Yutyrannus being a Tyrannosaur. I would say that one's a toss-up because I see if it's in water, if it's near water, Oxalia would actually win the battle. If it's on land, Yutyrannus would actually win that battle, even though Yutyrannus is not as long or large as Oxalia, but I'd say that one could be a toss-up. This depends on what kind of environment they're actually going to be in. And Yutyrannus versus Therizinosaurus. Therizinosaurus. Let's see here. And is Suchosaurus a Spinosaur? And I don't mean Suchomimus. Yeah, I did actually take a good look at this, and Suchosaurus is a Spinosaur, and from what I know, it's not as large as a Spinosaurus, or Suchomimus, but some people would probably get them confused of the naming. But yeah, it is a Spinosaur, probably more of a Spinosaur that has probably not had a lot of research done. So there you have it. Suchosaurus is a Spinosaur. And then Chromo Paleo Show and asks here, hey, what's your opinion on Shastosaurus Synchonensis? Do you think it should remain the Shastosaurus genus, or should it be moved to Shonisaurus? When it was discovered, it was placed in the Shastosaurus genus, then it was moved to the Shonisaurus after a study, then back to Shastosaurus after another study, and now studies are showing it to be more Shonisaurus-y. Personally, I think it resembles other Shonisaurus species more than other Shastosaurus species, but what do you think? Well, that is a very good question. Shastosaurus being the largest of the ichthyosaurs, and then Shonisaurus being a little bit more of a part of the primitive ichthyosaur type of family group. It's hard to tell because I have not done a lot of research. I have not looked into this that much, but if there's still debate about it, it's still up in the air right now. And I would say that if the evidence does suggest that it's actually leaning towards more of the Shonisaurus type of genus, then it's probably part of a Shonisaurus, type of genus, instead of the Shastosaurus, because Shastosaurus is a very large ichthyosaur. And so Shonisaurus being one of the large ichthyosaurs, one of the large primitive ichthyosaurs, I mean, it could actually be either one. It could be either one. So I'm open-minded about this, and so hopefully that answers your question. And so thanks for actually sending me that question. Benjamin from Hong Kong, is Kronosaurus the biggest of all Cretaceous pliosaurs? Yes. Why is the Centrosaurus heavier than Stegosaurus? I don't think it is, because the Centrosaurus, excuse me, I don't think it's actually as big as Stegosaurus or even bigger than Stegosaurus. If it is heavier than Stegosaurus, then that probably means it has more muscle mass. But from my knowledge, it is not heavier than Stegosaurus. Why does Hypacrosaurus have tail spines on its back? Since it's probably a stegosaur, probably it actually would probably be using those for display, not really for defense that much. And could Guanlong be a juvenile form of Monolophosaurus? No, because Monolophosaurus has got more primitive teeth. It's got more blade-like teeth, much thinner teeth than Guanlong. Guanlong being from Asia, and it is part of the Tyrannosaur family. And so Guanlong actually would have actually lived around 155 to 150 million years ago in the Jurassic period, whereas Monolophosaurus lived in the early Jurassic. And so there's a difference right there, because they're different rock formations, and you're not going to find both of them in the same rock formation. So that answers your question right there. It's Aaron from YouTube. I have a question. Is there still controversy between Triceratops and Torosaurus? Are they considered separate species or synonyms? Well, this is still highly debatable, but from my knowledge, the Torosaurus-Triceratops debate is still that they are still different species. Because, one, first and foremost, how do you change your skull when you become an adult? That does not make sense. Because you see, that whole thing kind of got started with Jack Horner saying that, oh, we never found juvenile Torosaurus, and so he came up with this hypothesis suggesting that Triceratops and Torosaurus are actually the same species, and Torosaurus is possibly a adult version of Triceratops. But other paleontologists have actually come out saying that this is completely false. We do have juvenile Torosaurus specimens. It's just that they're very broken up and they're not as complete, and so that is actually very hard to do when you only got like very little bit of juvenile species of Torosaurus. But even though Torosaurus could actually be a very rare ceratopsian, because it probably lived in the highlands of the late Cretaceous period in North America, whereas Triceratops probably lived in the lowlands and was more common. And so that's probably why we don't find a lot of Torosaurus specimens out there, and also juvenile Torosaurus specimens. And also some of the juvenile Torosaurus specimens can also be in private collections and are not accessible to science. And that can actually be a problem for a lot of scientists. It's just that sometimes that could actually happen. But a lot of paleontologists already have confirmed that hypothesis is false. That Torosaurus is an adult version of Triceratops. I'd say it's still Triceratops and Torosaurus are their own species, because first and foremost, there's complete differences between Torosaurus and Triceratops. Triceratops has got that solid bone frill, does not show any holes in the skull, and also the horns are curving forward in Triceratops, and also it's got a more prominent nose horn, whereas Torosaurus, has holes in the frill, and it's got a much longer skull, and the brow horns are actually pointing forward and sideways, almost sideways, and also it's got a much smaller nose horn. So I would say that those are actually significant differences between them, and showing that these are different species. Not really the same animal. And so Jack Horner got it completely all wrong in this one. And so So even though I respect Jack Horner as a paleontologist and making the science of paleontology into the public eye and all that sorts of stuff, but some of his hypotheses are just a little bit off of left field, and so sometimes that actually kind of makes him he's trying to get everybody to get to a discussion, and that's pretty much what he's doing, is trying to get everybody into discussion, and that's what he did with the T-Rex being a scavenger type of thing, which that is completely false, and so that kind of actually is the thing, is that he's trying to create a conversation. But that hypothesis that he put up does not have any merit to it. But there are some paleontologists that would say there is merit to it because we still have not found enough juvenile Torosaurus specimens. And so that kind of actually becomes the idea that Torosaurus is a adult version of Triceratops, but I still completely disagree with that. So Torosaurus, Triceratops are their own species. All right, that's it for now. Now next week I'll be doing a special episode, so I'll let you guys know what prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life. Feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions on the wall or in the comment section. And also for YouTubers out there, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and even put your questions in the comment section. I read them all, and I can actually get your question on video. And so feel free to do that, and also keep liking the videos, and also subscribe, because that helps the channel a lot, helps me a lot, and so that actually keeps the channel going, and also I continue to do more videos like this. And also so remember, keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's where my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of people around you. And also, for younger people out there, to make sure you listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now. Now I'll see you guys next week.